Hi, everybody. This is Alessandro Del Vecchio, and you're watching CMS TV. Rock on.
It is your Classic Metal Show right here on the ClassicMetalShow.com. Kicking off the show tonight, we heard a classic from the self-titled Metal Church release with Battalions. And then we heard the great god of metal, Mr. Lemmy Kilmister himself with Bad Religion from Motorhead. And a guy who knows a little bit about Bad Religion, my good friend and partner, Chris Akin. What's going on there, Chris?
What is up, sir? How we doing?
Good. Back from a nice week away and ready to get back to it.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
Good to hear.
Yeah. So, I finally got to have a getaway that was not drama filled.
Well, that's nice. That's always good.
That's the first time in a while that I have not dealt with assholes.
That's even better.
So, but having the week away has done me a whole lot of good, and I'm glad to be back here to do this thing all over again.
Yeah, it was a nice week off. I ain't gonna lie. It did not suck to not have to be up until 7 a.m. on a Sunday morning. That was pretty nice.
Well, did you catch any extra rest at all?
No, none.
No,
exactly zero.
Even though,
well, I guess I caught a little because I went to bed before like 2 a.m. or something last Saturday. But I'm a fucking working machine.
Well, I understand, but when one of your responsibilities is, you don't have that responsibility. Sometimes you just kind of take advantage of that. But I'm sure you just filled it with something else.
Dude, it's the starving artist, the Gioeli thing. It's just there's so much work to do that I have to get done, because we're I keep telling Johnny, I'm like, you know what, we're living in a house that we're building. And to live in a house before it's complete is very difficult. So quite honestly, every single thing that comes up is like, okay, well, now we need to build this to do this, or now we need the app to do that, or now we need the CRM to do this. It's every single thing.
Yeah.
So it takes a ton of work. Plus, this week I was actually busy doing some CMS-y type stuff.
Right.
I this, but the fans don't know it except those in the expensive chat room.
Yeah, that $5 a month chat room.
Yeah, the overpriced one. I finally got around to building the what will be the new quote unquote new CMS 24/7 server.
Okay.
And you uploaded all 2,400 and whatever clips.
Well, I'm glad it did a complete upload and it didn't stop in the middle or disconnect or anything like that. It was a complete upload.
Yeah, it's I think it's 2,400 files dating all the way back to I think the earliest thing I found was 2006.
Yeah, probably.
There's some really old stuff there, but now comes the arduous part, the part where I have to take those things one file at a time and make a quick video out of it and then upload them to Rumble. So, But I started that. I did get that started. I'm going to take 30 minutes a day, no matter how long it takes me. I'm going to do 30 minutes a day of creating 2, 3, 4 videos and uploading them to the Rumble channel so that they're there.
Chipping away at the stone.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So in 2029, I should have everything caught up.
All right, very good. Very good. Well, since you said you found stuff as far back as 06 and we're coming up on 24, that's 18 years minus the 2.5 you took off.
Yeah.
So it's almost 16 years worth of stuff.
Yeah, and honestly, most of the stuff is not the current stuff either. So you take that out too. So it's really, you're going to get you're going to get 15 years of content that YouTube whacked.
Right.
And if I'm not mistaken, that's about how long we were on YouTube.
Right. True.
I think it's quite, honestly, I think it's everything that we did in the YouTube era.
All right.
So that's going on. The server's working. You're streaming to it, which is great for everybody that would love to. I would love for people to test it out tonight on the app or on the website, whatever. It's just listed as the new CMS 24/7.
Okay.
If people would check that out. And once they're good with that, then I'll take the old one off, and you won't have to burn through computers, every 2 years playing 24/7.
Right.
And so we'll have that working. And then a just-in thing that everybody will probably see Monday on their favorite news site, if your favorite news site is Brave Words. We have partnered. We, CMS Network, have partnered with Brave Words to bring Brave Words Radio to the app.
Okay.
To the app and to the website and whatnot. So they just launched a 24/7 channel playing a different variety of music than the other stations that we have. So now Brave Words Radio is on the app. So we're up to 9 stations. We're turning into fucking Clear Channel.
Right. Well, if you can't find something, to listen to, then you really don't want to listen to anything.
Yeah, or at least anything that's in our realm. I mean, and that's kind of what you and I, and when we had the very first meetings about doing the CMS network, when it was me, you, Nalbandian, and Matt Hartnett, having those very initial meetings, what did we say? We said we wanted to create a hub where no matter what you want to listen to, it's there.
Yeah.
I think we're there.
Okay.
I mean, I really think that we are there now. We've got the, we got Brave Words working with us now, and I'd imagine we're going to get Brave Words News on the app as well. Just got to get to that point. But we've got 9 different radio stations. You can listen to CMS if you want 24/7. You can listen to the CMS Network 24/7 if you want to hear all the shows. You can hear KRFK, Keel's thing that has, House of Hair and Sammy Hagar's show and Eddie Trunk's show. It's all on the app now. So there's no reason for anybody to say, there's no reason to listen to commercial radio anymore. That's for goddamn sure. Everything should be get in your car, Bluetooth to your phone, and listen to something that you like right on the CMS Network app. Right. So get to it, fuckwads.
Yeah. And with, technology being as it is, it's been around a while, but not everybody has a new or modern car. But I'm sure as time passes and people buy newer vehicles, that's all I listen to in my car.
Yeah, me too.
The minute I get into my car, I plug in my iPhone and I'm either listening to podcasts, I'm listening to Spotify, I'm listening to the CMS network, I'm, whatever. My phone is my radio.
Yeah.
And
same here.
And I just play it in my car, and I don't listen to terrestrial radio. And why would you?
Yeah. There's no reason to now. This comment from Brian is perfect. Imagine paying for Sirius XM when you can have the CMS app for free.
Right, and you don't get the repeat stuff on the CMS app. No Sirius XM. Whenever I do listen to it, when they have like a free weekend over like Labor Day or something like that, they'll play the same stuff like around a 10-hour rotation. And if you were listening 10 hours ago, you'll probably hear the same rotation. If you're listening to the music stuff, you'll hear it again, and
you'll hear the same DJ say the same shit.
Right.
That's the worst part about it, is if you listen all day, you'll hear Mark Striggle again in the afternoon. I'm assuming they're just saying, hey, it's Mark Striggle. I just want to tell you about Judas Priest.
Right, exactly.
So yeah, I'm pretty excited about that, making some adjustments to the app and getting it more gooder, as the O&A crew used to say. I'll answer this one too. What happened to Heavy Metal Television? Didn't work out. Simple as that. It didn't work out with Eric, and so it morphed into CMS TV.
Right.
So CMS TV is there.
All
That's
right.
what happened.
Yep, that's what happened. I mean, do you miss it? Do you miss heavy metal television? Not you. I mean, I'm talking about the fans.
Yeah, what, the 20 that were watching it?
Yeah, the people who never even explored it. The thing been around for a decade, and hardly anybody ever knew about it.
I will say that is definitely one of the projects that I've worked on that I am disappointed did not take hold. I really thought that it probably would, and no, people just don't want to watch videos that way.
No, they don't. It's an outdated concept.
It is.
It's just an outdated concept that, I would. Interestingly enough, I was watching a documentary. I think it was called "The Dark Side of the '90s" or something like that.
Okay.
And it talked about various things that went on in the '90s. And one of the subjects was, and it's a show that I never watched because I never cared for it, but it was on MTV. It was that Carson Daly show.
Oh yeah.
What did they call that show? It was
120 minutes. Was
no,
that 120?
No, it was something live.
Oh, where they would do it from the upstairs thing.
Yeah, that place. What
was that called? Like MTV Live? I don't remember what it was called, but
something like that. But Carson Daly hosted that thing,
right?
And apparently, it was very popular. I mean, I know it was a popular show, and some of the '90s bands.
TRL.
Yeah, TRL. That was Total Request Live. Was that what?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
something like that. And they went through the history of TRL and how they launched it, what the concept was, and it at first nobody watched it because it was new for one thing, obviously, and it didn't get the buzz.
Yeah.
But then Carson Daly, I didn't know much about Carson Daly at all, but I guess he was a DJ in LA on like Kiss FM or something like that. And I guess, according to the documentary anyway, he was sort of a real musicologist. He kind of knew a lot about music.
Okay.
And then, so he got hired off by MTV to host this TRL Live. And they kicked it off with this thing that they were going to do, introduce new bands and introduce new music and introduce new music videos and, this kind of thing. And it wasn't popular at all, but then they started trying to get the fans involved and allowing people to call into the show live. And then they were, did it from that upstairs window. And then they started having bands in the studio where you could see them from the street.
Right.
So more and more people started gathering out in the street and, so they started getting, literally thousands of fans standing outside watching this,
waiting for Britney Spears or whatever, right?
Like that, and it was a popular show, I guess. I watched it a few times, but it just never was my thing.
Right.
But you know what killed that?
What's that?
The internet.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
It was a really popular show and it was going gangbusters, I guess. But then when the internet came up in late '90s into the early part of the 2000s, people lost interest in it. It was just like, that was cool about 10 years ago, but nobody gives a shit about it now because if you want to see a new music video, you just go to YouTube.
Yeah, it's all on demand.
Yeah, it's all on demand. You just go see it for yourself. If you want to know what a band is doing or where they're at or anything, you just look it up. Unless you're ID Trunk listeners.
That's right.
Because they don't know anything about anything, what's going on with any band or...
No, nothing.
But anyway, it was a very interesting rise and fall of TRL.
Right.
I guess it was a big hit show for MTV, and then the internet came along and people went, yeah,
we're done with this.
I got nothing. This holds no interest for me.
Right.
I'm not going to sit here and wait till 4:00 on an afternoon to wait for Carson Daly to tell me what's going on.
Yeah. Well, I think the internet killed that for every industry that has stuff on a clock, don't you? Any media, any digital medium, there's nobody sitting around till Tuesday at 8 to watch this or listen to that. It's like, forget it.
Yeah.
I'm surprised we have as many listeners as we do.
Sure, because we offer on demand as well.
Yeah, and we do 10 times the business on demand that we do on live. But
yeah, but the people who listen to us live, they feel as if they're connected.
yeah,
The
I guess.
the people who listen to us on demand, they listen for entertainment purposes.
Mhm.
People who are here and listen to us live it's kind of communal.
Right.
So they're part of it. They heard it live, they heard it first. They could interact with us sometimes, they can interact with other fans, and so that's what that is. That's sort of a communal thing. But yeah, of course. I mean, the on demand is the way to go for most people, because
Sure.
it's like, well, I'll listen to it when I have a time. I'm not going to sit here and be a slave to the internet or to the computer at a specific time. So why would I do that?
Yeah, I know, it's crazy. But yeah, so anyway, that's our updates for CMS, for the CMS world. I actually did some CMSing this week, so, as well as interviews out the ass and doing that kind of stuff.
Sure. And you did one with Todd Kearns this week?
Last week was Todd Kearns.
Okay.
Yesterday was your friend and mine. Yeah.
Oh, you talked to Jesse James?
I did talk to Jesse James.
Okay. Did you get a new ID from him?
No, but I can get it because he gave me his email address. So
right.
I gotta play you one clip. I wasn't gonna do this right now, but why not? Give me 1 second here to get a clip, because Jesse was absolutely fucking great, as he always is.
Of course he is. I mean, we've hung out with Jesse on a few occasions over the years.
Well, we talked about, this is what the clip was we were talking about the whatchamacallit, the festival that we saw him at.
At the
Rock USA.
Rock USA.
And he shared with me his memory from it.
Okay.
Which is just classic, and you'll understand why in just a second. Check this out.
All right.
It's going to take a second to download, but
about that festival was that over in Van Halen's dressing room area, they had 2 porta-johns outside the dressing room trailer. And one said the Van Halens,
right,
and the other said David Lee Roth. So,
dude, we talk about that all the time on the show.
And I thought that's so funny. The Van Halens, the family members shared the one porta-john, and David Lee had his own. But that was kind of funny.
Yeah.
He has the same memory we do.
Yeah, of course, because it was so ridiculous. It's just like, just the I want to be in Van Halen, and I want to make the money with Van Halen, but I want to be together but separate.
Yeah. I just couldn't believe of all the memories he would have, because we talked about a little bit about the, him passing the whiskey around, and it was still white labeled and all that. We talked about all that stuff.
Sure.
And then he said, well, here's what I remembered. And that's what he remembered was the same thing we remember, which was
that was 2013, wasn't it?
Yeah. 10 years ago.
Yeah. 10 years ago.
Whew. That doesn't even seem like it could be possible, does it?
It is.
10 years ago.
That was what, July of 2013?
Yeah. So more than 10.
Yeah.
Like, we are getting old way too fast. Just way too fast.
I know. It's flying, man.
I can't believe that. Does not seem 10 years ago.
I know. That
seems like 2 years ago.
Well, 2 years ago, we were in the middle of the pandemic.
Yeah, that's true. We did lose three full years of our stuff, I guess.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I just found it to be crazy when we were talking about that, and it's 10 years ago.
Yep.
While I'm showing you Jesse stuff, check out the ID he did for CMS TV. It's pretty fucking funny. Check this out.
CMS TV has got it going on as always. This is Jesse James Dupree saying
what?
Saying freeze. God damn it. Wait a minute. Come on now. Computer, don't be a cunt tonight, please.
If we had more subscribers and had more people to help support the show, Chris could get his own staff who could work this.
Yeah.
He wouldn't have to do this on his own.
Exactly. Here we go. Let's try again.
CMS TV has got it going on as always. This is Jesse James Dupree saying, tune it up, plug it in, strap it on, and crank it up. Pa-pow!
Strap it on.
Strap it on.
Strap it on. I hope he means a sidearm.
Pa-pow!
Pow!
He's always fun, man.
Yeah, he's a character.
Yeah, he's a good one. So yeah, people that want to see that can see that on Tuesday. So
Very good. Very good.
Yeah, he was fun. He was definitely fun to talk to. So he's always fun to talk to, and has a cool song too.
Yeah,
that new song is really good. That Never Gets Old. It's
you know
really
what?
pretty good.
I got to be honest with you. I haven't heard it.
Well, we will play it later in the show.
Sure, absolutely. Yeah, one of the better memories I have of Jesse, and I've hung out with Jesse. I'm trying to think. 1, 2, 3, at least 5 times.
Right.
When I was still doing the CMS on WSTB.
Okay.
He was going to call into the show live. That's when we had that whole, you came down to the show.
Right.
And you forgot to call.
Right.
And that's when we did the whole Jesse James. Well, we might as well just do it here. And then, yeah. And we were doing all that shit.
Yeah.
Well, he called up, later in the week and was just apologized so profusely. And he says, we'll do it next week. I promise. And he kept his promise and called in the following week.
Yeah. He's just a good old boy, man. He's like, my word is my bond.
I remember when I had first met him and we were just shooting the shit and talking, and obviously one of the most popular early videos from Jackal was when they played live on the back of that flatbed truck in front of a Kmart.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And he was just like, he goes, we've come for all you Kmart shoppers. Kmart won't carry our CD, so we've come for you. And they were doing a live show on the back of the semi.
Right.
And he was driving it. And I said, Jazzy, do you have a CDL? Because he literally drove that truck. and he goes, he's like, now, why would I need one of those?
Yeah, why? Of course.
So I was just curious because he literally drove that truck from wherever it is they loaded that gear on and drove it to the Kmart and then drove off. And I asked him if he had a CDL, and he said, why would I need that?
That's hilarious.
So yeah, he's a character, man.
He is, yeah. And you talk about a guy that's hung around. He's hung around. He's still doing, he just, like I said, he's got a new record coming out. Worked with Brian Johnson again. Brian Johnson has never done anything with anybody else. He seems to love Jesse.
Right.
He's working with Jackal.
Well, who doesn't love Jesse? He's a character.
Well, that's true, but
Jackal came out in 91.
Yeah, 91, 92, somewhere in
Yeah,
there, yeah.
somewhere around there, yeah. So
30 years.
Yeah. So he's been at it a long time.
Yep.
And I think they have 2 original guys still left in the band, Jesse and two
Is Roman an original? Roman Glick?
No, he was from Brother Kane.
Okay. I don't know who's who. I don't know. Let's see. Jackal. Where is the wiki page? I'm getting everything but it. Does Jackal not have a wiki page? Are you shitting me with this? Oh, I'm on images. Duh. Hold, please.
See, if we had more fans who would support the show, Chris could get a support staff in the control room over there, like Anthony Cumia does on the Compound Media.
Then they could do their own shows and be lousy.
Right, exactly.
Let's see. Past members: Jimmy Stiff.
Okay.
Is he an original?
Yeah.
Tom Bettini.
Yeah, he's the one that Roman took over him.
And Ronnie Honeycutt. Oh, he hasn't had that many members.
Yeah, well, that's what I said. I think there's 5 members total in the band, and I think 3 of the 5 are still in it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty good though for 30 years to only have. Well, he has 5 total guys that used to be in the band: Jimmy Stiff, Ronnie Cunningham, Ronnie Honeycutt, Thomas Bettini, Cliff Witherspoon, and Jamie Taylor.
Yeah, those were really early members, I think.
Yeah.
But
And then
Tom Bettini, I think he became like a born again Christian or something. Didn't want to play that nasty
I
rock.
love my cock music anymore.
He didn't want to play the nasty rock and roll music anymore.
Yeah, no. Well, good for him. He
But
found a way.
That's when Roman Glick came into the picture.
Right.
Because he was, Brother Kane wasn't doing anything
Right.
anymore at that point.
Yeah. Well, in any event, that's what I did this week.
Sure. Well, sounds good. Well,
Yeah, it's fun.
I took a road trip, and I took about 5 days, and I actually came over to the Akron, Ohio area last Friday,
Right.
and I attended a just sort of an informal high school reunion thing. It wasn't for any specific class. It was just for all classes.
Right.
And, my friend Nancy, you're listening, Nancy. Hi, Nancy. She let me know that there was going to be like an informal gathering out there on at one of the places out on the lakes.
Okay.
And so I out in the Portage Lakes area, and so I decided to take Taylor and I decide to make a trip over to Ohio and
Right.
go see what's going on over there. And it was a nice night. It was really nice out on the lakes. We were out near I don't know if you're familiar with the Portage Lakes region at all.
Not really. I've been there.
It was out there near where the Pelican Cove used to be. Remember
Right.
the Pelican Cove?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's out in that area.
Okay.
And we went out, and of course, some of my former classmates were there, as well as people from the other years.
Right.
And it was sort of just like a big gathering, and everybody who was in their own little class stayed in their own little group.
Right.
And
Okay.
I showed up there with Taylor and stuff and introduced her around, and my friend Nancy, she's got a pretty wicked sense of humor, and she and Taylor hit it off like two peas in a pod,
Right.
which is really funny. And Taylor was just kind of taking it all in, just seeing people a bit older than her.
Sure. You think?
The interaction there and all, and it was just kind of funny because of course I was getting all these looks like who is that? Who is that with you? Who is that? That kind
Is
of
this your daughter?
Exactly. Which was kind of funny. And so I'm standing there just kind of hanging out for a little while, and some guy, didn't know him, he was from another class. He comes walking up and he starts talking to me and asking me what my name was and what class was I in and where am I from, and just asking all kinds, because then he gets all apologetic, goes, I don't mean to ask so many questions and stuff, but to be honest with you, my wife and her sister asked me to come over here and find out who you are. I said, well, why didn't they come over here themselves? He goes, I don't know, but they sent me on a fact-finding mission to find out who you are.
Should have given him bullshit answers.
I know, but it was just kind of a goofy thing, but it was kind of fun, just kind of catching up, and it was a nice night out. It was one of those open outdoor bar type places. They have all
Right.
they had like three or four bar areas around there, and just people just enjoying the weather and having a few
Right.
cocktails and just socializing and whatnot. I wouldn't normally go to things like that, but
Yeah, I was gonna say that's very outside of your realm.
it is. But I was just curious as to what was going on, and Taylor wanted to go, so I said, yeah, well, let's go.
Right.
So
I'll let you answer this question. I ain't touching it.
R Smith,
Area Smith, I guess.
are Neeley and Taylor dating? I don't know what that means. Are we dating? Me and Taylor have a thing. That's all I tell you. She's a good one to hang with. Let's just put it that way.
There you go.
And so Saturday, we went over and visited with my dad, and she wanted to. My dad seemed to really take to her, but then again, who doesn't? But she basically was telling him, I was kind of looking forward to meeting you because I wanted to find out where this guy came from.
Nice.
So my dad was more than generous to sit there and basically regale her with stories for a little over an hour and a half or so, and just
Right.
kind of told her all kinds of history, I guess, stories about the family and where things generated from and where places we've lived and moved and how things came to be and all kinds
Right.
of stuff. So
Sure.
he was pretty. He seemed to enjoy the company for one, and he told a lot of. He even told some stories I never heard.
Really?
Yeah. So I was just like, wow, I never heard that one before. I'll bet you he told at least 3 stories I never heard before.
Wow.
It's like, oh, I didn't know. So he talked about the time, the times that he and we lived in the Chicago area, and then when we lived in the Pittsburgh area, and when we lived in the Youngstown area, and then of course the Akron area, and so on and so
Sure.
forth, and kind of gave her the whole cliff notes of where things were at and how things came to be, and
Right.
she seemed to enjoy the visit.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, so as we were leaving, I saw my dad do something I'd never seen him do with any other, anybody I've ever brought around on a visit. He kissed her hand before we walked out the door.
Wow.
Yeah, I was just like, I've never seen my dad do that before.
Did she know what to do with that?
Oh no, she's very gracious. She's
All
very
right.
gracious. I said, boy, my dad must have really liked you because he's never done that.
Yeah.
For with any other girl that I brought
Nice.
around before. So
Look at
so then we headed on over to Pittsburgh.
that. Right.
And we got into downtown Pittsburgh Saturday afternoon, and we went out on a dinner cruise
Okay.
out on the Three Rivers.
Right.
The Gateway Clipper fleet offers a sunset dinner cruise, and we took a cruise, had dinner on the boat, and just cruised the Three Rivers, and that was about a 90-minute cruise.
Okay.
Weather was perfect, beautiful night. So while after dinner was over and all you're doing is just kind of cruising, they have a top deck on the boat, so you could sit up on the on the deck and just kind of watch the scenery and so on and so forth. So there's this couple that were sitting next to us. They were the guy was older. He was I think he said he was like 74 or something.
Right.
And he had a younger woman with him.
Okay.
And they were sitting there, and so they started chatting with us, and he was a character. His name was Dennis Hopper.
Right.
She's just like the actor, And we got to talking with them, and they had a pretty good sense of humor about stuff. And we started just, cutting up and laughing. He goes, you know what? I'm really glad I met you guys. He goes, I'm going to buy everybody a round of drinks, So he was buying drinks for everybody and sitting. He goes, how often do you come back this way? And I told, I said, I come in 2-3 times a year. He goes, we'd like to go to dinner with you. You guys down for that? He says, if you come into the city here, take my phone number, give me a call, and let's go out to dinner. This
All right.
was a lot of fun. So, real nice guy, real nice couple.
Sure.
The guy was kind of well-to-do, and he said, you guys are pretty cool. He goes, this was a lot of fun. He said, I really would like to go to dinner with you guys if you come back this way again. So,
All right.
So we exchanged phone numbers. So we'll see.
Yeah.
He seemed like a pretty decent dude. Had a good sense of humor. Just one of us.
Right.
He had no filter.
That's cool.
So that was a lot of fun.
Sure.
Then Sunday, the Steelers were playing San Francisco, but I didn't have tickets for the game. I didn't really plan on going to the game, but things in that downtown area get kind of nutty, especially on game day.
Right.
So what we did is we took off and went out to Altoona, and I text you about the video out there. we went up to the Horseshoe Curve in Altoona. If you've never been out there, it's up in the mountains where basically the trains come up the side of the mountain, and then they come around basically like a horseshoe and go back down the other side.
Right.
It's a historic place. It's a historic area, and it's pretty cool. The scenery is great out there. So we took a ride out to went out to Altoona for the afternoon, and we stopped through where I used to live as a kid, and stopped through there, and we stopped at the Hall of Fame, or the museum for the McDonald's Big Mac.
Nice.
The McDonald's Big Mac was invented in Irwin, Pennsylvania, which is where I was from, and they have a McDonald's museum there to kind of commemorate the Big Mac. If you have any interest in that kind of stuff, so
Sure.
it was just like a 10-minute stopover, just to take a look at some of the old stuff. And it just the trip was just a really nice, relaxing trip. And then Monday, we just kind of hung around the city and walked around the cityscape there, and looked at some of the architecture and checking out a few of the oh wait, I got to go back. Saturday night after the cruise was over, we were in the what they call the Market Square area, and there's a Hard Rock Cafe. So we went into the Hard Rock Cafe, and there was a Black Sabbath Ozzy tribute band playing. And they played both Black Sabbath songs and Ozzy solo songs. And the lead singer, the guy that was doing the Ozzy stuff, he was absolutely phenomenal. He looked like Ozzy. He kind of had the chubby Ozzy look from the late 70s, early 80s.
Not the broken Ozzy of today.
No, but this guy sounded fantastic.
Right.
And their bassist, he sort of had the Black Sabbath look. He had the like 70s, like Tony Iommi hair going on.
Sure.
The poofy black hair with the bangs and stuff.
Right.
And then their guitarist, he had the Randy Rhoads thing going on.
Sure.
And they did a really good job. And so I bought the band a round of Jack Daniel shots. So we all did shots on the stage.
Right.
So that was a lot of fun.
That's
and
cool.
it was just a killer evening of just hanging out and just having fun and not having any responsibilities and stuff.
Just sounds like a good weekend or good few days just to get the fuck away.
It was. Well, then Sunday night after we got back from the Horseshoe Curve, we went up on Mount Washington and we went to dinner at a place called Lamont.
Right.
And it's kind of a higher end restaurant, overlooks the city. I had requested a table by one of the windows there to overlook the city. And, it was one of those deals where it was, everybody's dressed in tuxes and the whole thing. It was just like a high end experience.
Right.
And I'll tell you what, those people up there were just the friendliest people you'd ever know.
Right.
Just as the wait staff was fantastic. Everybody was just friendly. Everybody just very accommodating. It's just nice to be at a place where it didn't feel like it was rushed,
Sure. Mm-hmm.
And it was just a nice experience doing that. And so we headed back to the hotel after dinner, and there was nobody at the hotel bar. Place was just vacant.
Right.
But it looked like it was open. And so I went over, Taylor went back to the room to get freshened up a little bit. And I went to the bar, and I'm sitting there at the bar, nobody to be seen anywhere. And finally, about 10 minutes later, this girl comes out, and she looks at me, and I said, are you guys open? Are you closed? What's the story here? She says, well, technically we're closed, but I can make you one if you want. So I called Taylor and I said, hey, the bartender said she could make us a cocktail before they close up for the night. So she came down, and we were just sitting there. Before you know it, one by one, people started filtering into the place.
Right.
Mostly Steeler and San Francisco.
49er. Yeah.
They're all dressed in their jerseys and whatnot, and all coming in talking about the game and so on and so forth. And before you know it, the bartender's in full bartender mode, just because everybody's ordering something. Well, before you know it, then the loudness and the arguing starts.
course.
with the sports fans and getting out of control. And this, before you know it, it gets so loud that the I don't know what you want to call it, the hotel manager comes out and basically tells everybody that they that they don't have to keep it down or they're going to have to go back to their room.
Right.
And it was just getting really loud and obnoxious, and it just got to the point where I told Taylor, I said, let's get the hell out of here. This is getting a little out of hand because people were getting really, what do you want to call it? Competitive, argumentative about the game and all that other stuff. Well, apparently when we were checking out of the hotel on Tuesday, I ran into that bartender. I said, man, things got a little rowdy. And she goes, yeah, you didn't stick around for most of it, but they had to call security in and
Nice.
break up the mess in that bar.
Nice.
Because people were just getting really rowdy and out of control, but it was just kind of funny.
That's cool.
Yeah. And we met this kid. His name is Yuri, and he was from Philadelphia, and he started talking to us and, asking us about, where are you from? What are you doing? All this other stuff. Well, then he starts telling us, I don't even know why he started telling us this, but have you ever heard, and I've never heard of this before, but have you ever heard of boofing?
Boofing.
Boofing.
Not ringing a bell, but
I know, I never heard of it either. So he's telling us that he, this is when I guess you take drugs of some kind. I don't know whether it's cocaine, heroin, legal drugs, something or other. And you crush it up and you put it on your finger and basically stick it up your ass. No. That was my reaction right there. So he starts telling us about this boofing. It's like, dude, why are you telling us this? It was just the weirdest collection of people I've ever run into. And they just start telling you stuff, and it's like, oh, okay, what's the story here?
Right.
So that was bizarre. Sunday night was bizarre. And then Monday, we basically kicked around the city and went to a Pirate game Monday night.
Okay.
And, we ran into some people at the game that were very cool. Everybody was really cool. It was just a very chill weekend just to get
that's
away.
Always good.
Yeah.
It's always good when you go and you don't run into a bunch of dicks.
Exactly. Everybody we ran into was very cool, just very chill. Just seemed like everybody was just having a great time. Every day that we were there, no matter who we ran into, was just like very, very relaxed, easygoing, just very chatty, it was just a very relaxing, no stress weekend.
Right. Well, if you didn't run into dicks after the football game, then you're probably not going to in Pittsburgh.
Exactly. And so we drove back Tuesday, and Taylor was like, you think Sal would be up for dinner, once we get back into town?
Yeah.
And so she got a hold of Sal, and Sal agreed to meet us up for dinner, and we went out to an Italian place. So me, Taylor, and Sal all just kind of had dinner at a little Italian place near his place over there in Chicago. And, again, a very cool, relaxed evening, and just, hanging out with friends and things. So, to wrap it all up, the getaway was just a very cool 5 days of just relaxation and just enjoying myself, and not even any drama, no bullshit, no assholes, nothing.
Right. Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, it was a good time. So yes, I went away for the weekend, and yes, there was no show last week, but I feel 100% better.
Horrors, there was no show.
I know. What are you going to do?
Yeah, I didn't even have it in me to do best of or anything this week. I just was like, fuck it. Watch Chris Akin Presents.
Exactly.
That's really how I was. I was like, hey, you want to watch something? There'll be 5 episodes of Chris Akin Presents. You can watch.
Absolutely.
Watch that.
Yeah. I'll be seeing Eric next month, I think.
He's coming here too, but I think it's far. So
yeah, I think he's playing at Steven's playing at the Arcada. I believe it's like October.
Oh, that's that World Series of Rock or whatever.
No. This is just Stephen Piercy at the Arcada.
It's not the thing with Vixen and Quiet Riot and all those people?
I don't think so.
I think it might be. I think it might be like we just talked to Britt Lightning, and boy, if that wasn't just Eric hitting on Britt Lightning, I don't know what was. But
and who is that?
The guitar player for Vixen.
Okay.
She's hot. She's definitely hot.
I'm not familiar with her, but
you gotta watch that interview. Eric's just like, "Oh, hey, Britt."
So I take it he knows her already.
Yeah, he brought her onto the show.
All right. He is playing in St. Charles. Stephen Piercy brings a Sunset Experience to St. Charles. I don't see anything about the 80s rock invasion. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
That's October 14th, and that's over in Kansas.
Okay, but that's like Stephen and...
Yeah, that's Stephen Piercy.
Vixen.
Who's well in this thing here. Details. Slaughter, Great White, Rat. Let's see. What is it? Alongside some of our favorite artists, including Stephen Piercy of Rat, Great White, Slaughter, and Vixen.
Yeah, okay.
Okay. Yeah, that's in Kansas, I guess.
Yeah, I guess I think they're getting ready. Maybe they're going to do that in 2024. They're going to do it as like a tour.
All right. That's in Mulvane, Kansas.
Everybody, when I think of rock and roll cities, I always think of Mulvane.
So that is October 14th, but that is not the show that I'm talking about.
Okay.
He's going to be at St. Charles at the Arcada on Friday, October 6th.
Yeah.
So I will see him in about 3 weeks.
That's cool.
Mm-hmm. And then the show you're talking about is in Versailles, Ohio, which is down near Dayton, Ohio.
How far is that from me? That's like 3-4 hours?
That's about 3 hours.
Yeah, I can't do that.
I know you can't.
I can't go that far. 3 hours, just because Eric's going to fly half a day doesn't mean I'm going to drive 3 hours.
Yeah, no way.
So here, I'm going to let you answer this question just because we have a new listener in the Rumble.
All right.
And he thinks I'm the host and you're the guest. So that is not correct.
Is that the person's name?
Detmertz. Yeah, Detmertz.
Okay. Well, technically, I am the host. Chris is my co-host, or we're co-hosts.
Yeah.
But it is. I started this show back in '96, and Chris has been with me since 2005.
Right.
So that's where we're at.
And we talk about anything. There will be some metal talk at some point.
Yeah, we usually use the first hour just to warm up and get a set the tempo for the show, and then the second into the 6th hour is usually everything and anything that you can throw at the wall and see what sticks.
It could be metal. It could be brothels. It could be politics. It could be, I don't know, whatever else. Movies, TV.
Sure.
Whatever the fuck we talk about. There's no, I don't even know how to describe it anymore.
It's just a multi, what do you want to call it? It's just there's no description.
Yeah.
It's just everything that affects our lives. That's basically it. Music, entertainment, politics, relationships, good times, bad times. I've had my share.
Yes. Here's all you need to know, Detmerds at Rumble. We've been kicked off of YouTube, so that should tell you how our content is.
Yeah, they don't like us over there.
They don't like us over there, but they like us here at Rumble.
Yeah, well, Rumble's free speech platform so far.
We like the Rumble.
Sure, absolutely.
That's right.
So does that answer your question, Detmer?
I hope it does.
All right.
But just keep listening. It'll grow on you like a fucking virus, like a plague or something.
Right. Well, like I said, the first hour is usually the getting things rolling, and then once we get warmed up, it's time to really get into the meat of the matter.
Yeah. I think he thinks that we're mad. We're not mad, dude.
Why,
Relax.
why are we mad?
I just asked because of the name.
Well, so?
All right, we answered because of the ask. All right.
Let's just put it this way. Metal is the soundtrack of the show. How's that?
Yeah, that's pretty much it. And we do, between this show and the other shows on the network over at cmspn.com, if you want interviews and that stuff, go over there. Because this show will be there, but also all the interviews and shit like that is
We
all
used
there
to
too.
do interviews on the show, but our fans just didn't seem to care about them.
Yeah, they don't want to hear it. And let's be honest, it's not that easy to get these guys to 10 o'clock. Oh, my God. We got to do an interview at 10 o'clock.
Right.
You know, nobody wants to do it like it's some kind of late time or something.
Sure,
10
absolutely.
p.m.
Yeah, so, Chris has branched out with his Chris Akin Presents show and his Seth Williams show. And, that's where you hear interviews and things like that. We had done hundreds and hundreds of interviews on this show over the decades.
Yeah.
And the fans didn't. That was the least popular portion of the show. People just didn't really give a shit.
Every time. Z.
I know. It's like nobody cares about the interviews on this show. They just
not on this show.
They just want to hear us ramble, and that's what we do. We just
want to hear us ramble and rant and rave about shit.
Yeah.
So.
Some things you'll find relatable, other things you could care less about, but eventually we'll hit on something that you'll like.
Yeah. Sometimes you're going to like me and hate Neeley. Other times you're going to like Neeley and hate me.
Right.
That's how it works.
Yep. I mean, it's a multi-variety show. You'll get everything that affects your life. That's basically what it does. It's Chris and I talk about our lives. That's it.
Right.
And our thoughts and our opinions and our viewpoints. And it's all about us, man.
Yeah, and we're metal guys, and he seems like he's a metal guy. He said his favorite band's Megadeth, so
all right, fair enough.
So yeah, you'll hear some shit.
Sure. So and we've been doing this a long time. Unfortunately, it's there you go. But as much as I hate to say it, but we're coming up on 30 years. Wow. 30 years.
Yeah, man.
Between Chris doing his metal show on MMS and what was the other station?
92.3 Extreme Radio.
Well, what was the call letters for that one?
WXRK.
XRK. Yeah. Between you doing the metal show, me doing the classic metal show, you and I collaborating on this show, we've been doing this for almost 30 years.
Yeah.
So
that's crazy.
Yeah, that's crazy. But
we're old.
Welcome aboard. Welcome aboard, friend.
Yeah. Keep watching Detmerds.
Right. And welcome the rest of you rumblers out there and our CMS subscriber people.
Yes. And even some of you fucking freebies that are out there on like Twitter or something.
Right.
There's people listening on Twitter and stuff.
Yeah.
Everywhere but YouTube.
You mean on X?
Yeah, on X.
The X.
The X.
So anyway, that's what's happened in my life this week. And then of course it was back to making money.
That's all I do.
Which is what pays for these little excursions that I go on.
Yeah.
And that was not a cheap excursion this time around. I went to the best hotels, best restaurants, best everything. I is like, this is my last big outing for the year, so I'm gonna make it worthwhile.
Right. Yep. Good to go. So.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, if you don't have anything, I'm out of gas already.
Yeah. Now, Detmerds, just so you're aware, we're now going to take a break.
Yeah.
And because of licensing, we can't play the music that is on the regular show. So if you want to hear the music, you have to go to cmsradio.net and you can play the music in between. But we'll be back in about 15 or 20 minutes with an interview, actually.
Really?
Yeah, with Tim James.
Oh, that's right. Our good friend Tim.
That's right.
is gonna come on, and we're gonna talk about his new record and his new music in a serious fashion, of course.
That's right.
You know, so what's the name of his new disc? It's
Solidify
Junk Punch
or sodomy? No, Solidify.
It was Junk Punch.
Junk Punch, right?
It's a good one.
Right.
All right. And is Tim joining us via the video?
He is.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. All right. Well, I'm going to play a few tunes here. We got a request they were asked that we get this in early.
All right.
I am going to honor the request of one of our fans who hit us through the CMS Podcast Network request.
Yes.
But if you would like to get a request in, you can send your email to request@theclassicmetalshow.com. Request@theclassicmetalshow.com.
Right.
If I can get to it, I will. But apparently, I think this guy's name is Dave, because it doesn't really say who.
But he's Dave now.
It says Dave from Dave. That's all it says is Dave.
All right,
So
Dave.
Dave had to work tonight. He got called into work tonight, so I want to hear "That's the Working Man" by Shotgun Sawyer. Hope you can play it early. Hail and kill. Well, I'm gonna grant you your request, Dave.
There you go.
And I'm glad you're a contributing member to society and out there working and making a living.
That's right.
All right. Well, we're going to play a few tunes. We'll come back with our good friend Tim James and talk about his new release. But until then, this is Shotgun Sawyer with "That's the Working Man" exclusively here
on your Classic Metal Show.